Well, kia ora and welcome into the Harness Half Hour, proudly brought to you by HRNZ Marketing. I'm Jess Smith, and this week on the show we talk to trainer Syd Breen following his Wyndham Cup quinella. Dan Lynch of the Manawatu Harness Racing Club is with us. Rowena Mackintosh, president of the Wairio Trotting Club, joins us ahead of their Ladies' Mile Day this coming weekend. And Courtney Clarke of HRNZ updates us on Team Teal 2019. But first, here are the headlines. The All-Stars team added another kindergarten stakes win to the mantelpiece when preparing Flying Even Better to win the time-honoured 2-year-old feature. The son of Bettor's Delight won the mile in a slick 1:54.4. The Wyndham Cup quinella went to Gore trainer Syd Breen, who trained Sagwitch to win the Cup on Saturday, beating home stablemate Santana's Rocket. And we'll speak to Syd soon about this huge training feat. On Thursday night, the Palmerstonian feature pace at Manawatu went the way of the Nighthawk, who also headed home a training quinella, this time for Scott Dixon, with Wee Star Sam finishing in second place. And following the horrific incident in Christchurch last Friday and the cancellation of the Addington meeting, selected races have now been rescheduled from that meeting, and for full information you can visit hrnz.co.nz. Well, of course, alongside the kindergarten stakes at the Wyndham meeting over the weekend, the feature was the Wyndham Cup. And Syd Breen was not only the winning trainer, but trained the quinella home in the feature cup on the card. Syd, congratulations.
Thanks very much, Jess.
I guess the silly question would be, what kind of emotions go through you, Syd, when not only are you able to win a race like that, but train a quinella?
Yeah, I go a bit silly. I get pretty excited.
What?
It's a great thrill, he's owned by a couple of very good friends of mine, and the second horse he's owned by some of the same people, and they're all good friends, and yeah, it was a big buzz.
Oh, I can only imagine, and as you say, when you've got friends involved, and I see, Syd, that it's to date, your best training season ever, so everything just must be a bit overwhelming at the moment. Yeah,
just having a bit of luck and a nice few horses, and it's just, everything's just honky-dory.
Well, it must, of course, be more than just luck, Syd, because I'd imagine a lot of hard yards, a lot of long hours goes into it. And can you tell us, Syd, how many horses have you got in work at the moment?
4.
Oh, right. Okay, so
I try to do about 4, 6 at the most. Yeah, 4's enough.
Wow, that's fantastic then when you think you've only got 4 on work and, 2 in the Cup and running the quinella. Could you ever dream at the start of the season that you'd end up in this position?
I did really like Sagwitch and Santana's Rocket sort of right from the start when I first got them. They've always been pretty nice horses. And, I was hopeful that we could have a good season. It was just to have one, let alone... I had 3 in the Wyndham Cup, and the names on the Cup and that, there's some great horses on there.
Yeah.
I've been watching that race since I was a little kid, so it's always the dream, isn't it? Yeah. And we never sold either of them. They sort of both missed out in being sold, and for one reason and another. So it was good that they're sort of earning a bit of money and keep things ticking along.
Oh, absolutely. And what were the reaction of the owners? As you mentioned, they're a good bunch of people and you're all good friends. How did they feel after the race, Syd?
Yeah, well, Paul Matheson, he was playing golf in Wanaka, and he's a publican for the MLT, and they sponsored the race. So his boss was sort of giving me the trophy, and so, but he arrived in last night and took the cup home to his wife, and they're pretty wrapped this morning. So, so we'll get to fill it up this week sometime, I'd say.
I was going to say there'd be no shortage of champagne or whatever you choose to put in it now. Yeah,
probably Appleton's rum, I'd say.
Sounds like the good stuff. And in terms of going forward, I note Sagwitch, beautifully bred, being a half to Washaki. What are the long-term plans for these horses now, Syd?
Probably... I'd like to take Sagwitch up to Auckland in between May and June, and give them a couple of 2 or 3 starts up there. Just going forward to I know it's a big the big plan, but the Inter-Dominions are there at Christmas time, and if he's had a trip up there and he's going good in 9 months' time, well, I'd like to think we could go up there.
Wow.
Like there'll be some great horses in it, but even just to be part of it, and that they're back in New Zealand, I think if you can support those, we want those races, you've got to support them.
Oh, most certainly. And I'd imagine, as you say, Syd, that, you know, it'll be a bit of a dream come true, and given that you've only got forum work to have a horse that you could potentially take to the Inter-Dominions must be amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a big thrill. And Santana's Rocket, we may look at sending him to Australia on a 50-50 deal or get him trained over there. I think he just loved Menangle, like mile racing, and he's got gate speed, can stay a bit, so yeah, that might be his future.
Yep.
But I'd like to keep him, but just with when you get up in the grade, you've got to do the best by the horse, and so that would be his best place, I would think.
Fantastic. And I guess now that you've had this success in talking Inter-Dominions, are the group of owners looking to purchase the next horse, or how do you come about getting these horses, Syd?
Paul Matheson and Ross Clellan. Ross is a big help to me. He does a lot with the horses and organises everything for me. Mm-hmm. Him and Paul bred Santana's Rocket and Trendy's Bag Girl, and they've got 3 colts coming on that they've bred. Mm-hmm. They sort of breed 1 or 2 each year, and the Slashing On Syndicate, they're breeding out of Loretta Franco, that we won 6 races with her over the last 2 seasons, and she got in foal to Better Than Cheddar, so we've got that one coming on. We're sort of, yeah. And I think they're buying another yearling at the moment. They're in the process of, so looks like I've got another one to train.
Fantastic. Well, given the season that you've had, you know, I'm sure there's many more wins to come. So thank you so much for your time. Congratulations. I know what an amazing buzz that was for you. So we wish you all the best, and fingers crossed for the Inter-Dominions.
Thanks very much, Jess.
Time for the social media news headlines, starting off with New Zealand, and of course Team Teal had a huge support in 2019. You can view a new video montage on the events from this year on the HRNZ Facebook page. There are also updates on last week's Horse of the Year Standardbred categories, and updates on junior driver profiles, and of course feature race winners. That's the HRNZ Facebook page. From Australia, a race goer who threw a shoe at a race field at Gloucester Park in Perth on Friday night faces a life ban. You can find more by following Adam Hamilton on Twitter. And from the USA and Canada, New Zealand bred mare Shartin resumed in winning style over the weekend. The daughter of Tintin in America is now part owned by driver Tim Teal and won impressively in her first start for the year at Yonkers in 1:52. Well, of course, we're not far away from the Gold Cup Festival to be held in Palmerston North, and part of that naturally is the Manawatu Harness Racing Club racing on March 27 and 29. And joining me from the club is Dan Lynch. Dan, thank you very much for your time, and how is the season going to date for you and the club?
Well, it's been an interesting season. Once again, Jess, we've had the influx of horses coming up from down south with Michael House, and that, as for last season, has added quite a lot of excitement and interest to our races. Our horse numbers have held up, but down slightly at the last meeting, and one thing that we're aware of is that we have to maintain stakes at a level that will draw horses both from the South Island and further north. Mm-hmm. So from that end, things have held up. We've had some great racing, and we've had some good dividends coming up, so it's not just pure favourites winning all of the time. Mm-hmm. As always, more horses are welcome. We feel that there's still opportunity there for South Island trainers to make the trip north and to take advantage of some of the racing that's available up here. Mm-hmm. But in general, we're delighted with the way the season's going. There's always the challenges of turnover, of course, but we're happy in general where we're heading at the moment.
And as you mentioned, South Island and also North Island travelling trainers, it appears since Michael House made that big step that others have started following suit. So that may be a growing trend that you might see.
Well, historically, going back some years, there always were a number of South Island trainers coming north to race up here, and they provide quite a lot of colour, a bit more interest to the meetings, and they also provide the fields, can fill out the fields so that we actually have the racing. We can't walk away from that fact. And so therefore, more South Island trainers that want to come north, they know they're welcome. We like to think we make them welcome, and the opportunities are there of lining up and 10, 12 horse maidens at times versus 17 horses going around in some of the country meetings in Canterbury.
Oh, absolutely. And in terms of the festival planning, Dan, I know this is a busy time of year for all three codes of racing in that district, and how is the planning coming along in terms of your club's perspective?
Well, we're excited about the way we're going at the moment. Andre Neal's been a great help up here, doing an overview both with the Awapuni and here, and with the greyhounds. The greyhounds have an exciting concept of fast dog races that are taking place, so we're sharing the night with them. They're starting their racing round about 3:40, and we finished racing at 7, and the harness has a slight overlap of about 4 races. But last year we put a concept out of the birdcage bar, where we had tables in the birdcage with umbrellas. That sold out last year. We had 8 tables. This year we're up to 13 tables, and they're nearly sold out as well. So, we just need the right evening. We've got a lot going on, and hopefully it's a good night. There's a lot of work gone in to make it a success. Again, we've had a lot of help from Awapuni. We're working closely with them and with the greyhounds, so we're all pulling in the same direction.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. And I noticed too lately on social media, Dan, that you mentioned people coming out and enjoying the atmosphere on course. There's been great coverage in terms of the Manawatu Harness Racing Club's social media updates and showing people what's going on. So that along with the website have obviously been 2 big targets of your club to maintain?
Yeah, well, yes, the social media, it's a large part of the population's way of getting news and participating. And our Facebook page is getting a lot of hits. We had 3,000 hits last week with 600 engagements. Now, while all those aren't coming, there are a lot of people that are taking notice of what's going on here. And I think we just have to be part of that communications market and be out there. It's not a big expense, but we've employed 2 young people to run that for us, and they're certainly getting the numbers in. And we are seeing that on course, not necessarily with a large number of people, though that is part of it. It's also a different population that come along to our race meetings.
Oh, definitely, and it's great. As I say, it's I've really noticed that as well, and it's been great work by your team putting that up. And I see in terms of encouraging people to be on course as well and involved in harness racing, you've got a new horse to syndicate. Yes,
that's right. We had Captain Kirk, and as we watched him racing, we come to the realisation that he's probably struggling, or not struggling, but he's met his mark in this grade. So we moved him on, and Stephen, our trainer, Stephen Doody, club trainer, purchased another horse at the sales, the Rock and Roll Dance from here, the Cheers, and most of the people in the previous syndicate stayed in, but a number, for various reasons, had to withdraw, such as building houses and other events like that. Maybe their wives tapped them on the shoulder, or their husband tapped them on the shoulder. And we've got 8 shares left in this horse, or in fact 7 now, that will be going around from Stephen's stable later in the year. So if anyone's interested, that's there. A large part of it is we're looking to get people that aren't currently involved in harness racing to give them an opportunity of participating.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so if you're interested in that, make sure you get in touch with Dan and the team at the Manawatu Harness Racing Club. Dan, thank you so much for your time. I know you guys are doing a lot of hard yards to get ready for this festival, so all the very best of luck, and I'm sure it will be successful as always.
Thanks, Jess, and thanks for your support.
Well, of course, on Saturday we see Ladies' Mile Day being held for the Wairio Club. And joining me on the show this week is President Rowena Mackintosh. Rowena, thank you very much for your time, and understand it's a very busy time for you and the committee.
We're just having a bit of fun. We've got our Mile Day coming up, and to try and keep it at miles, we've put a variation in of having a couple of the races from a stand. Yeah.
And I see the fields have come out, Rowena, and the nominations are wonderful. It looks as though people are really interested in this concept.
Yeah, no, we actually were blown away by nominations this time, and no, we've got full fields, so it'll be an exciting day's racing, especially with seeing how quick the mares go over the Southern Belle.
Most certainly, and I noticed one thing about this annual meeting, Rowena, is you always get the Canterbury trainers travelling, so that's obviously a sign that it's well received.
Yes, yeah, well, it's brilliant to have the Canterbury support come down, and it also looks good on these mares, you know, if they're going to be used for breeding later on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and of course Ladies Mile Day, it's been running for quite some time now with the club, and obviously the committee will be very proud in terms of this concept and the support from not only horses but also people attending.
Yeah, well, it's one of our committee men, Reg Drake, it's his baby, so I think it's been going about 15 odd years, and I've been on the committee for about 13 of those, and I came in helping on the Robin Dundee when they were involved. So, yeah, no, it's brilliant, you know, to highlight the ladies of the day, and also our lady this year is Nicola Hickawai. She's one of our support crew down there at the Southern Harness office, and she's a godsend.
And so explain a bit more for people who aren't aware. Each year the club, they select one lady to highlight, is that right?
Yes, and you had that honour one year, didn't you?
I did, and I tell you what, it was a thrill and an absolute honour, and the way in which you guys promote women in racing and support women in racing, I think it's a real credit to you and the club, but it's very important to do so, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks for that, Jess. Yeah, we've actually got 3 ladies on our committee at the moment, and yeah, lucky me, I'm sort of sitting in the high seat for another session because I was past president last year, and you know, it's really good. It shows, you know, people that, you know, if you want to be involved, you don't want to be involved with the horse side, you can actually be involved in the administration and committee work as well.
Oh, exactly. And in terms of the stakes, you'd be really proud that you're able to offer fantastic stakes. I see a $10,000 minimum for the day.
Yeah, no, that's thanks to Southern Harness with their budgeting. It's brilliant. And also we managed to bump up a few of our others with a few of our reserves that we've got there, just to make it a bit more enticing for people to come down. Yeah, it's just brilliant.
Yeah, okay, and you mentioned, of course, that's a great atmosphere on course, and you've got a few things happening throughout the day for anyone who want to attend.
Yes, we've got some wonderful ladies from the Tautau Patchwork are coming to have a display downstairs with all their quilts and handiwork, and it's amazing how many of those ladies are actually got harness racing backgrounds as well. Well, their husbands have. And also on the day we've got prizes and purses. We've got some lovely, you know, sponsors products there. From you put your losing ticket into a bucket and we'll draw it out in between races. And then also, hopefully, if the weather holds, we'll have some kids' kart heats as well. They'll be going around. They're celebrating 10 years this season. And also, Wairio, we're actually very privileged to be able to sponsor a pony for the last couple of seasons called Takatimo Tira. So he's a gorgeous little white pony, and hopefully he'll do the business for us this week like he did at Wyndham the other day.
That is absolutely brilliant, and well done to the club for getting behind kids' karts as well and sponsoring a pony, because, you know, every pony out there is a touch point for a kid to potentially become the next driver, or not only drivers or trainers, as you say, administrators and involved in the sport in any way, Rowena.
Yeah, you know, it's brilliant. And also I've sort of got a slight hand in kids' karts because my 12-year-old son, Seamus, is out there having a go too. So, yeah, you might as well, you know, throw all the bricks in one basket and have a go.
Oh, well done to you and the committee. I know a lot of hard yakka goes into it. So good luck for this meeting on Saturday. I'm sure the weather gods will be great to you and you'll have a successful day as always.
Well, if it stays like we have today, we're quite overcast at the moment, but no, the temperature's actually holding. So as long as we get no moisture, it will be a brilliant fast day.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Rowena.
No, that's no problem, Jess. Thanks for having me on.
Well, of course, Team Teal for 2019 has been run and won, so to speak, but now we are wrapping up all of the amazing efforts that have gone into the campaign. And one of the ladies that have put in one of the biggest efforts is Courtney Clarke, who's sitting here with me today to wrap things up. And Courtney, well done to you. It's a lot of work putting this together, and you must be thrilled with how it went. How many wins did we end up with in the end?
Yeah, thanks, Jess. We've really just exceeded my expectations this year on how well the campaign has gone, and the way that the clubs and the female drivers and industry participants have gotten behind the cause. We ended up with 42 female wins this year, which is just incredible, and that raised $17,900.
That's remarkable, Courtney, when you think last year we hit $20,000 overall, so to reach almost that in wins is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is, and it's great to see female drivers actually actively looking for drives over the period to try and keep that tally growing.
Have you found that this year, given that the first year was done and dusted, the awareness was a bit higher?
Yep, everyone seemed to know what we were talking about. At a lot of the tracks, especially around Canterbury, I sort of went around with the buckets with a couple of the girls, and you didn't have to explain what we were collecting for very often. Even just people on the track that had just come for a day at the races knew what we were talking about. And that just comes down to the clubs doing a fantastic job at promoting it as well.
Oh, most certainly. And in terms of the clubs, a lot of clubs this year went off their own bat and put events on. So what kind of events did we see held around the country, Courtney?
Yep, so we had a few sort of standout events, but a lot of clubs did things behind the scenes as well, like just did a few donations themselves, or organised a donation bucket on the night or something like that. But the ones probably that really stood out were Cambridge Raceway did a ladies' night again, which they did last year. The room looked absolutely fantastic from the photos that I've seen, so they did a great job in supporting their Team Teal again. Auckland did the celebrity dual sulky race, which was great. It was great to see Melody Robinson win that, and they actually donated donated $100 to the cause because a female driver won that race. So that was a nice wee touch as well, and it was really great to see a couple of females in that race, and they all had a really, really good time. Reefton and Westport obviously got behind the cause with the ladies' race, so that was to finish off the campaign. And I think we're going to talk about that in a wee moment, but that was great to see 2 races at the West Coast just full of lady drivers in those teal pants going around. And Southland obviously had their big day. They supported the cause extremely well down there. I think they sold out of merchandise just about every race meeting that they had, so it was great to see all the Southerners getting involved. They managed to, actually I think it was Kirsten Barclay dared Ellie Barron to run down the straight on the second to last day of the campaign in a costume, and Ellie said to her, I'll only do it if we get $1,000 for Team Teal. So that quickly exceeded $1,000, and Ellie turned to Kirsten and said, well, if we get $2,000 you need to do it with me. So it quickly got over $2,000 as well, and it ended up being over $3,000 raised with Ellie Barron, Kirsten Buckley and Tom Kilkelly running down the straight in costume. So that is just incredible, that sort of money to be raised for something like that. And also, we can't forget the fashion in the field that Hororata ran as well earlier in the campaign. That was just great to see all those ladies coming out in their touch of teal and getting behind the campaign there too. Oh,
definitely. And as you say, a lot of clubs that made huge efforts. We had awards subcommittees like Otago making donations as well, and a lot of people making donations directly to the cause. But speaking of the Westport and Reefton ladies races, I know you were actively involved with the clubs over there in terms of getting something like this off the ground, because being the end of the campaign last year, I know those clubs are very keen to do something, and it was great to see it come to fruition this year.
Yep, it was, and I think it was a really proud moment for everyone involved just to see the ladies all out there racing together. There was a lot of interest around the race from the clubs, from local media like the Westport News, from our own racing media as well. And I think like the turnover from the races and stuff was really good as well. Like there was just a lot of interest, which was great. And I really hope we can do something like that again next year. And it wouldn't have been possible without Westport and Reefton clubs really rallying around the campaign, so a massive thank you to them.
Oh, it was fantastic, and thanks to everyone too who supported those races. And with the wrap-up of the campaign, we spoke prior to Team Teal getting underway that South Island Flair have sponsored an award. Can you tell us a bit about what this award is for?
Yep, so it's for any female driver in New Zealand, and it's a contribution to the Team Teal Award. And I think this is a really amazing thing to be noticed for. It's about going beyond the cause. So it might be doing social media, doing donation buckets, being involved somehow in the cause that is just going that little bit extra. So we've received nominations, and we got a great amount of nominations, which just shows how much effort the female drivers really did put into the Team Teal this year. And that is with the nomination committee at the moment, which is the Flair committee. So they're deciding this week who will win that award, and it will be announced hopefully later in the week.
That is absolutely remarkable. So well done to South Island Flair for putting that trophy up. And that's going to be an annual thing, isn't it?
Yes, it will be. Yep. So we'll carry that on next year too, and hopefully the girls really get behind it again, and it becomes something they strive to win each year.
Exactly. So it's not about how many wins you get, it's about how much effort behind the scenes that is put in. So with that, I guess we come to the end of our wrap-up, and a total, the money's still coming in, so we can't really announce it, but you've exceeded your budget?
Yeah, so like we mentioned earlier, last year we got $20,000, so we thought, hey, maybe we'll go for 25, and then we thought, no, look, we're going to go for 30, and we have exceeded that, so that's just remarkable. I mean, we're looking at the moment around the $35,000 mark, which is just incredible, and like you said, there's still donations coming in, so we won't probably have a full amount received for another couple of weeks, but that's just a huge thank you to the industry and everyone involved, because that's a remarkable amount of money to raise in 6 weeks.
Most certainly. Well, well done to you, Courtney. I know it's been a labour of love, a lot of work going into it, but also thanks to our ambassadors and everyone that's supported Team Teal for 2019, and we'll wrap it up and get ready for 2020.
Yep, bring it on.
Well, joining me, of course, at the stage of the podcast is harness bookmaker Richard Wilson, and looks like a busy enough week that you had, starting off with Tuesday last week at Wanganui, Richard.
It was Tuesday at Wanganui Trotting Club at Palmerston North. Blair Orange and Michael House there again, and this time they weren't quite as dominant as they had been at recent meetings, so the week got off to a reasonable start for us. Apocalypse was one that they did win with, and he was the best backed horse on the day though, 1600 at 220 and a $1,500 bet at 210, the best of a whole heap of bets on him. There was a nice $2,000 bet on Ideal Tiger to run the top three at $1.60. That one cashed in as well. And a few going our way, 1,000 on Natty Pagger at $2.20, 1,000 on Shillelagh at $3, and 1,250 Uncle Drew at $2.20 to run the top three. So not a lot of big bets there, but an interesting day.
Yeah, it certainly looks by this report that the top three is the popular way to go. And of course, the second day of that meeting was Thursday night at Manawatu.
Yeah, it was another fairly good night for us there on Thursday night, but there were a couple of big wins. 2,200 on the Nighthawk at 320 to run the top three was pretty good there. The Apocalypse, he backed up and won again. 1,000 at 205 was the best bet on him, but there were plenty of slightly smaller ones there. The big miss of the night, though, Istanbul. There was bets of 3,000, 2,000, 1,500, 1,100 and a couple of $1,000 bets, all at the $1.70 quote, and he galloped in front about 1,700 from home, so that was good for us there. And also going our way, $2,000 to win at $6 and a $6,000 top three bet at 220 on the Kapiti Express.
Okay, and from the mighty Manawatu, Friday night, of course, we had the abandonment, unfortunately, of Addington, but we still had Auckland, and looks as though punters had a good night.
They certainly did there, yes, Jess. Early on, race 2, Double Rocket got them going. $1,000 bets at 220 and 210, $1,800 and $3,000 bets at the 185. So, and Double Rocket bolted it in there. The other one that they got stuck into, Jess, Benson Boys, very strongly backed, got home in race 4, $1,300 at 250, $1,000 at 175, and a $3,000 bet at 170 were the largest bets on him. And other good bets that got up there, $2,000 Max Shard at 280, a $1,752 bet Max Shard at 240, $1,600 Miss Blissful at 150 to run the top three. And there were a couple of going our way, thankfully. $1,100 Jack's Shadow at 420, $1,400 on Happy Place at 185 to run the top three, and $2,000 on a Due Flirt at 240.
And on Saturday, of course, we headed to your old stomping ground in Southland and a big day with the Kindergarten Stakes. But looks as though, again, the favoured punters had a good day.
The favourites, yeah, they really stepped up there at Wyndham Cup and the Kindergarten Day there. Big punters got stuck in as well, Jess. $1,500 on Stars Tonight in the last at 145. There was $10,000 Chinese Whisper at 160, 6,000 on the Commander at 185, 3,800 and a $2,500 bet in the Kindergarten, Flying Even Better at 175, $2,000 Ahoka Achilles at $2. There was $2,000 on Rafi Roo at 330, and $500 on and $500 Sagwitch at 12 was probably the best bet percentage win-wise there. Luckily for us, again, there's a few went our way, but they weren't very big ones. $1,000 Huntaway at 320, $1,000 on Benayo Ben at 7, $1,000 Mr. Handelman at 6, $2,000 on Copperfield at 230, and $2,000 on Slate at 420.
Okay, and of course to the big grass track at Banks Peninsula on Sunday. And surprisingly, Richard, you have mentioned in the past that this can be quite a good ground for punters. How did they go on Sunday?
Yeah, well, interesting. It was the win books were going our way, and the punters were getting stuck into the top 3 books and having a good clean out there. So it was pretty even most of the day. But the story of the day was the last race there. The favourite, George's Baron, got plenty out of the holes that the win punters got into. He tangled at the 800, so it wasn't a good watch for punters, but he got going again and won well. $1,000 and $6,000 bets at the 240, and there were 4 $1,000 bets at the 205. Closed 195, I think, with me, and 190 on the tote. So a lot of money going punters' way there in the last. Other good collects came mainly, as I said, in the top 3 markets. $3,000 with the band at $2 to run the top 3. $2,000 Mad Lou Lee at $250. $1,000 Already Gone at $370. $1,000 Lilac Star at $290, and $1,000 on Franco Riot at $4. So all those top 3 bets there coming in. A few bets keeping us in the game there. $1,000 bets on It's a Sure Thing at $290. $1,500 Chelsea Ella to run the top 3 at $330. There was $2,000 My Mate Ben at $290, and $1,000 each way on The Optimist at $650 and $235, and also $1,000 Linton Shard at $420.
Okay, and as always, you kindly find a multi to inspire us. What have you found this time round?
A bit of a cross-code multi here on Saturday, Jess, $150 spend, 3 Gallopers, Equinox at $160 at Trentham, Concert Hall $230 also at Trentham, Chicane at $340 at Tauranga, and then a couple of harness horses at Wyndham, Flying Even Better at $180 and Stars Tonight in the last at $150. So nothing out of the ordinary there, but that $150 5-leg multi returned $5,067.36.
All just goes to show it does add up, and those multi-builders can be very, very lucrative. You've also found a best cash out of the week for us.
Yeah, cash out just started with the new system early January, so I thought I'd have a look and see what was happening in the cash out area over the last week. The best cash out, there was a $100 multi, a 6-leg multi that was ending on Joshua Dillon at $1.50 at Palmerston North, would have returned $2,177. But the punter cashed out for $667 before Joshua Dillon ran, and of course he ran 5th, so a very wise decision there. Take the $567 profit rather than losing the $100. So well done to that punter. And on the flip side, though, of course, you can get it wrong. The worst cash out of the week, there was a $1,334 single bet, Jess, on Benson Boys. Got the good price of $2.50. Would have returned $3,335. But the punter cashed out before he won. He took a profit there, $1,640. But he let us off the hook there a little bit, really.
Yeah, it's going to be intriguing following that cash out option and the highs and lows, and always good to highlight those stories. I guess the punters won't like us reminding them of it, but in terms of the week ahead, it looks like another busy one.
Certainly does, yeah. Cambridge on Thursday. We've got, again, Auckland and Addington on Friday. There's 4 group races there at Addington, including the Flying Stakes. So that'll be a good one. Wairio at Winton on Saturday, my old track there. Interesting day there, mile day, and I think there's 3 standing start miles, so I'm looking forward to that. Waimate on Sunday, and the Wingatui grass track meeting goes round on Monday.
Fantastic. Well, Richard, I know you're a busy man. You've got books to set, so we'll let you get going, and great to have you back on board this week.
Yeah, no, good to be back, Jess. And just a reminder to punters there, we've got, how many have we got? We've got 5 futures books open now. We've got the New Zealand Derby open, the Trotting Cup, the Dominion Trot, and Inter-Dominion Paces and Trotters. So have a look there under futures on the website and see if you like anything long term.
And what's coming up harness racing wise this week? On Thursday night we've got harness racing at Cambridge with the Waikato Bay of Plenty Club. Friday night a doubleheader with Alexandra Park and of course Addington Raceway taking centre stage. Saturday Wairio will hold their Ladies Mile Day. Sunday Waimate will hold their annual meeting on the grass, and Monday we have a dual code meeting for Forbury Park. That's at Wingatui. And that's it for this week's Harness Half Hour. Thanks to HRNZ Marketing. Before we go, a reminder that the Women in Racing survey is now available on the HRNZ website. We strongly encourage female industry participants to be a part of this very important survey. So you can find that on our homepage, hrnz.co.nz. And don't forget the Harness Half Hour podcast is available on the Punters Lounge, which is on tab.co.nz, also on Spotify and iTunes.